Supercoach and Fantasy Sports Show. You are now listening to the Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another Insight Fantasy Sports Podcast brought to you by the Big Horse, Mickie Dell. Robbie Kennedy, the Supercoach Hawk, is still away on holidays. God bless him. He will be back later in the week to give you round 22 previews along with myself. Our show, of course, is brought to you by the Standard Squeeze. Go on, have a squeeze. Ripper product. If you see down the bottom of the screen here, or for those of you listening on platforms in the car on a podcast on your way to or from work, wherever it is that you might be doing or seeing or heading to, Insight 15 is the code, 15% off all your products, thanks to the guys at the Standard Squeeze. Cheers, guys. But today, we'll jump straight in. Round one of finals. How'd you go? For me, it was a pretty ordinary week, just over 2,400. A couple of pretty ordinary scores, which we'll get into quite soon, but huge injury news as we go through the teams listed. Now, we want to highlight now as to why you keep trades for the business end of the year, and this is why. No Walsh now, no Dacos, which is huge, and not just from a Supercoach point of view, but from a Brownlow point of view and also from a team structure point of view for the Collingwood side. What are you going to do? We've had to play rookies this week. Windhager for one for me. Marich might be another one from West Coast that might get a run depending on how injuries go. So this is why we keep our trades up our sleeve. What we'll do, though, we'll jump straight in and jump into Friday night's game, which was between the Western Bulldogs and Richmond. And my God, didn't the Doggies start on fire? Finished up 19 goals, 12, 126 to 10, 11, 71. The Tigers did show a little bit of fight in the second quarter, but it was blown apart well and truly in the first quarter, and the game was pretty much over, with the Dogs only really having to keep Richmond at arm's length to get the win. Libba, huge. We did mention him. He went a little bit bigger than what I thought he would with a 159 head-to-head with Taranto, who's having a massive form slump at the moment when we're talking Supercoach scoring. Bontempelli has to come in as the favourite for the Brownlow now, barring suspension, at a massive form dip himself. He's now got 3 games up on Dacos. He's probably level what we're thinking here at the Insight Fantasy Sports team in regards to Brownlow votes. If he gets a couple of best signs at the back end of the season here, he could well and truly take home the Charlie this year. Ugle-Hagan, 5 goals. Geez, he looks ripping. 127. Treloar, probably his most consistent season for probably 4 or 5 years. Finally getting his body right. 123. Rory Lobb, yeah, not really Supercoach relevant when we're talking consistency, but 115. Bailey Dale, 113, continues to frustrate owners, including I and English. Bit down on usual weeks, 112. I know some people did VC English. 112 is not the worst score in the world, but when you're talking finals, you want something big, and he certainly wasn't able to provide that for his owners. Jack McRae, a little bit quieter, 87, and that's about it. Bailey Smith, 59. For those of you that bought him in because of his dual position status, he has absolutely shit the bed, and if you can trade him out, do it. If not, you're stuck with him, unfortunately. From a Richmond point of view, no one over 91. Jaden Short, who will be someone that I'll be looking at next year. 20 kicks, 91 Supercoach points, but they were dominated all over the ground. Noah Bolter, the number 1 leading intercept marker in the competition, down back with a 90. Taranto, 25 touches. He's done all right, but only 85 Supercoach points. Nan Curvis, 32 hitouts, 15 touches, 82 points. No one else really to write home about here. Disappointing for Richmond, which is now basically they've kissed their season goodbye, and the Doggies look really nice for a top 6 spot now. Next game, Essendon versus West Coast. Wasn't this an absolute shit show? Essendon expected to go large against West Coast, potentially pump up some percentage and, potentially sneak into the 8 at the business end of the year. We have no hope if we play like we did on the weekend. 10 goals, 13, 73 to 11 goals, 672. Lucky for Cole Langford kicking that goal at the end. He was really good. 5 goals, 132 Supercoach points. Probably a sneaky All-Australian forward pocket, if you ask me. He's been really consistent this year and Essendon's leading goal kicker. Nick Hine with his best game in the black and red for quite some time. 31 touches, 137 Supercoach points. I mentioned Merritt late last week as a sneaky VC option, 143. He looked really nice with 8 tackles and 29 touches. Red Dog, on his fresh off signing his new deal and his 100th game, 22 disposals, 123 points. Parrish, who I want to bring up, 33 touches, 1 goal, 119 Supercoach points. But 12 of his touches were turnovers that went directly to opposition. This is something that it infuriates me. If you're going to have someone that turns the ball over as much as he does, why don't you put, your Hobbs or your Perkins in there and train up or upskill your young kids in order to play that position? He's ordinary by foot, and I hope they still trade him. We've been on with that for a long time now. Nick Bryan showing flashes with an 80, Perkins 94, Zerk Thatcher 113. But everyone else, Nick Martin, been disappointing over the last month, 59, and Caldwell subbed off with a 50. West Coast, Liam Duggan, sneaky nice season for the back pocket there, 118. Kelly, 117. Witherden, the Seagull specialist, 107. Yo back in the side, 98. Did some okay things. Gaff with an 80, 23 touches. Not really what you want out of a pod, though. I know if you bought him in because he was at 330K a couple of weeks ago. But when you're talking finals, you want someone that's proven. Next game, Adelaide versus Gold Coast. Now, this got really interesting. Adelaide was smacking the pants off Gold Coast at one stage there, only for Gold Coast to get back within 6 points. I tipped Gold Coast. Probably shouldn't have in hindsight, but they did show a bit there. They eventually went down by 28 points, 13-11-89 to 9-7-61. For Adelaide, Minge's hinge, 123. He's carving out a nice season down back there, 31 touches. Fogarty with 3 goals, 8 tackles, 120 Supercoach points. Crouch has been sneaky nice since coming back in the side, 112. I doubt that he's going to remain at Adelaide, though, just given that they've given him next to bugger all shot over the last couple of years and has proven that he belongs at AFL level. Ball Lace, first gamer. Very interesting. 18 touches, 9 marks, played really well down back, 112 Supercoach points. That's unbelievable for a first gamer. Not that you're going to be playing a first game at this time of year. O'Brien, 105, Saligo, 102, and then Laird, 93, 24 touches, 10 tackles, and Dawson, 89, 8 tackles, 23 touches. For Gold Coast, Witts, 109. Flanders continues his really nice late season form, 27 touches, 91 Supercoach points. Atkins, 25 touches, 84 points. Noah Anderson has been disappointing since midway through the year, 82, and Real with an 80. No one else really to look into on the Gold Coast side there. In what was the upset of the round and perhaps top 3 for the year, Hawthorn made Collingwood look really silly. 16 goals, 905 to 11-7-73. The big news out of this game, of course, Dacos knee, fractured knee, 6 weeks. There's 3 weeks left of this season, 3 weeks in the finals. He'll be, if Collingwood come good, he'll be back in time for the grand final. That's a big risk for me, especially if you've got no games into him. I know he's an absolute special player, can do almost anything, but when you're asking someone with 6 weeks out of the game and potentially can't train too much because of that injury or can't get much cardio in, it's going to be a hard slog to get him up. Pendlebury, the only one over a ton for Collingwood, 103. Crisp, 91. DeGoey, 83. Darcy Cameron continues his yo-yo season, 31 hitouts, 11 touches, 74 points. Dacos, yo-yo as well, 19 touches, 74 Supercoach points. Tommy Mitchell, disappointing, 44, subbed out, 11 touches. Nick Dacos with his worst game to date, 5 touches, 3 tackles, 1 goal for 41 Supercoach points. For Hawthorn, Sicily continues to go extremely large, 37 touches, 19 marks. That's unbelievable. 1 tackle, 166 Supercoach points. Jai Newcomb continues his nice solid season, 119. Dylan Moore, 22 touches, 117 Supercoach points, along with 3 tackles. Will Day, 98 with 29 touches. Warple, 98 Supercoach points, 23 touches. Finn McGuinness did an absolute job on Dacos. Congratulations, that young man. You are now, for me, the premier tagger. Even though you're in your first year of AFL footy, you are now the premier tagger in the AFL. Geelong versus Port. I love that Kane Dacos came out and said that this loss to Port Adelaide almost feels like a win. Didn't realise you had anything to do with baseball and the English cricket team, you bloody knob. They lost 2 goals. 14 goals 13 to 12 goals 13. It's an L. So get it through your skull, my old man. So Geelong, for them, Brian Myers, wow, 159. The assist king, 24 touches, 2 goals, 1. Stewart was on 44 points almost at half time. Really got his shit together towards the back end of the game. 134 Supercoach points, 7 marks, 23 touches. Reece Stanley with his once in a blue moon nice game. 18 touches, 31 hitouts, 105. Mitch Duncan, 105 as well. Dangerfield, 15 kicks, 20 touches, 1 goal for 100. And that's about all that's relevant. Jeremy Cameron, 66 Supercoach points and has really plateaued off after that really hot start to the year. Zach Butters for Port Adelaide continues his impressive season, 137. Ryan Burton, 115. Sorry, Butters with 30 touches for that 137. Burton, 115, 24 kicks out of his 25 touches. That's unbelievable. Rosie, really nice season as well, 27 touches, 99 Supercoach points. And as we look through the team, Horn Francis, 23 touches, 80 Supercoach points. And that is about it. Really close game up there, but Geelong just managed to run over the top of them in the end. In another upset for me, Sydney knocked over GWS. The final score being 12 goals, 13, 85. GWS, 15 goals, 6, 96 to Sydney. For Sydney, Hayden McLean, really nice up forward, 4 goals, 10 touches, 125 points. Chad Warner continues his yo-yo season when we're talking Supercoach points. Got to remember, this guy's still played under 60 games of AFL footy. He's going to be unbelievable moving forward. 122 Supercoach points for Chad Warner. Gordon, 120, really nice. 25 kicks, 7 tackles, 2 goals, 2. Mr. Rowbottom, 24 touches, 112. I anticipate he'll take a big leap in there once Lukey Parker decides to move on. But we all know Parker's still very young and still got a few years left in him. Jake Lloyd, 27 touches, 98 Supercoach points. Callum Mills, 28 touches. I'd say almost back to his better form with his 28 touches, but still only 97 Supercoach points. He'll be nicely priced for next year. So he's one definitely to keep in your back pocket for there. Lukey Parker, 85 as well. One that was disappointing, Nick Blakey, the Lizard, scored 61 Supercoach points, and Heaney highlights as to why we recommended you do not take him with 2 goals and 54 touches. For GWS, Green, the pig, was back. 38 touches, 10 tackles, 126 Supercoach points. He'll be one of my first pick next year. Pardon me. Briggs, 20 touches, 28 hitouts. He's unbelievable. He's had a bit of a form slump of late, but he is one of the top 3 for me, ruckman in the competition, 122 Supercoach points. Buckley back to scoring his tons as he was in the first half of the year, 108 with only 11 touches. Canelio, 106. Ward, 96. Himmelberg came on well towards the back end of the game, 91. And Whitfield a little bit down with 87. Our next game, North Melbourne versus Melbourne. North Melbourne shot out of the gates. Eddie Mazda was on fire early on. Unfortunately, weren't able to sustain the pressure and went down by 5 goals. 15 goals, 13, 103 to Melbourne. 10 goals, 11, 71 North Melbourne. For Melbourne, Maxi Gawn had his worst game for about 6 weeks with 130 Supercoach points. Congratulations if you picked him up when we did mention that he was right for the picking. Sex Track, Christian Petraka, 125. Lockie Hunter, 119 off 33 touches. Brayshaw continues to do piggish things inside. 37 touches, 97 Supercoach points. Van Ruin, really nice as well. 87 for those that had to play an emergency and you still have him on the bench. For the Kangaroos, Zeeble is given the old proverbial up yours to everyone who was dissing him for retiring. The Supercoach pig is back, or especially in this game, 127. Just to remind us all how great he is with his Supercoach before he does retire. Simpkin, 116. He was able to get through a game solidly. Well done, that man. Goldstein, who I think needs to hang around for North Melbourne next year. 15 touches, 24 hitouts, 110 Supercoach points. LDU, a little disappointing, 106. Taron Thomas, 101. Kane Turner, everyone's favourite kangaroo. I say that with the most amount of sarcasm that I can. 100, that's probably his highest Supercoach score ever. Tristan Shiri, 90, and Bailey Scott, 95. He's put together a really nice, year for the Kangaroos, and I anticipate to be in their top 5 in their BNF. She's all a little bit quiet, 56, bit of a role change. I guess that's because Zeeble coming back. Hopefully that changes in the last 3 games for us. The last 2 games we got here, St Kilda versus Carlton. St Kilda looked really nice up until about halfway through the third quarter, and then just went too defensive and weren't able to generate much when they were going inside 50. Carlton, 10 goals, 13.73. St Kilda, 8 goals, 6.54. 8 goals, 6.54 for a final side is just not good enough. I understand that you base your team on defense the way that Ross the Boss does, but you need more out of your forwards, and you need to be a little bit more selective going forward, I believe. They're going to fire blanks come finals. It's just not good enough. For Carlton, Nick Newman continues to impress down there. He's really come on. 35 touches, 144 Supercoach points. Zach Fisher, who's been rumoured looking at a trade. He might be nice. Next season, 126. Doherty, 107, and everyone else under 100. Elijah Hollins, for those of you that held him on the bench, 95. Georgie Hewitt, taking that inside mid-roll again, 23 touches, 99 Supercoach points. Paddy Dow, interesting, 22 touches, 4 tackles, 83 Supercoach points. That was probably his best game for Carlton, his 70th game and probably his most important. I still think he gets traded at the back end of the year. For me, another disappointment. I'm going to highlight 3 here. Cripps, 24 touches, 66 points. Charlie Curnow, only 10 touches, 63 points, which is chalk and cheese of what you get with key forwards. And Adam Sard, 61 points. Terrible. When we look at St Kilda, we've got Rowan Marshall, 13 touches, 8 tackles, 30 hitouts, 1 goal, 118 Supercoach points. I've got Mason Wood, 36 touches. He was unbelievable. Watching him on the weekend, he was really getting to some good spots. 14 marks, 3 tackles, 113 Supercoach points. Callum Wilkie, Mr. Consistent down back for them. 23 touches, 10 marks, 111 Supercoach points. Sinclair, 99 Supercoach points, and pretty quiet, to be honest with you. Steele, 11 touches, 10 tackles. Yeah, that's why we say we don't pick him this year. He's just been a little bit too inconsistent. 57 Supercoach points. He will be right for the picking next year, though, with his price anticipated to be around the 500,000 mark. Our last game for the season, Fremantle versus Brisbane. For those of you that listened to our pod 3 weeks ago, and we recommended bringing in Luke Jackson due to Sean Darcy's injury and his potential to go large with being the sole ruck. If you brought him in, congratulations. 173 Supercoach points, 1 goal, 2, 44 hitouts, 6 tackles, 5 marks, 24 touches, 11 kicks. That's unbelievable for a ruckman. Unfortunately, I have no trades left, but if I did, he would be on his way in. I went the Darcy Cameron route, and I regret it. Caleb Sarong, 35 touches, 126 Supercoach points. Brayshaw, 124 with 29 touches. Hayden Young, back to his best, 29 touches, 10 tackles, 123. Liam Henry's been really nice the back end of the year, 97 points off 24 touches. Luke Ryan, a little quieter, 21 touches, 88 points. And for those that stuck with Wagner, 15 touches, 67 Supercoach points. He looks like he could well and truly stick for them down back. For Brisbane, a little bit quieter from our Pigs. Dunkley, 77 off 17 touches. Neil, 90 off 25 touches. But it was the Berry and McCluggage show for them. 28 touches for Berry. He's 1 goal, 120 Supercoach points. Hugh McCluggage, 22 disposals, 4 tackles, 5 marks, 116 Supercoach points. Harrison Andrews down back with 10 marks, 103. How's Dane Zorko? He complains because he's got bruised nuts. Gets someone suspended, and then he goes, yep, I'm right to play again. 10 marks, 20 touches, 91 Supercoach points. You, my friend, you're a flog. Charlie Cameron, couple of goals. Danaher, couple of goals. Brisbane were pretty lucky to get away with this one in the end. 11 goals, 8 to Freo. 11 goals, 11 Brisbane. As we look forward, we've got round 2 of finals coming up this week. If you've still got trades, we've got some big games coming up. highlighted by Collingwood, Geelong at the MCG Friday night. That's going to be an absolute cracker. There's some really good pottish games that we've got coming up too. What I encourage you to do is stick with us, like, subscribe, put notifications on. So when we do go live, when we do have a recording pop up, you know what's going on. We're going to try and keep them nice and short at the back end of the year. So just get into the absolute guts as to what we want our viewers to know. Also, we've got our NBA pods that are really lighting up, dropping almost one a day at the moment. Charlotte Hornets just dropped a couple of days ago, which you'll see myself and NBA G Wiz on and giving some specialist comments on. We've got the Orlando Magic. We've got Indiana Pacers just dropped as well with Skiddy and Mr. G Wiz. We've got a variety of teams. All 30 teams will be dropped within the next 2 to 3 weeks. We've got some mock drafts that are going to be posted. We've got lots of content. The NRL boys are busy as well with NRL finals not far away. As you can see, we've got heaps on here. BBL is going to be starting in a couple of months as well. So I encourage you to like, subscribe, send your questions through to us on all our socials, as you can see below. But for now, I am the Big Horse, and this has been another production of the Insight Fantasy Sports Fantasy Podcast team. See ya.